All right, so we are, let's see, this is April 19th, 2016, and we're just doing from the Clarity Network, we're just doing a quick hot seat, and I usually just bring a certain amount of people on, just depending, and they can just random fire those questions. I know it's helpful to also get feedback and stuff like that. So, Lindsay, you shoot, go for it.
Okay, so one of my big questions that I have right now is, I'm heading into like a speaking engagement in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Super excited about it. I don't have a website up yet, and I obviously have limited time. So I'm wondering, and I've created a landing page, and I'm totally making those edits that we talked about. But I'm wondering, because that won't take very long. Okay. I'm wondering if I were to pick like one page to write some really good copy for, or maybe like 1 1/2 pages. Like, what would you pick? Like, what do you think is the most important? My gut says like services page, and like really lay it out. But then I also kind of am like, should I get in an about section also written? So in the short amount of time I have, what do you think the best way to do it is?
Okay, so what I would essentially do is, on the landing page that you currently have that has your freebie, that's the first thing that they see.
Yeah.
Okay. And that will have a little bit of your copy. So you can go take a look at the truthpreneur.com and see how I formulated that, where there's a little bit of an about me somewhat in that front page, along with the option to get into their freebie. So that's knocking 2 birds in 1 stone. And
yes.
The other option is to add a little tab at the top that leads them to another page that says work with me. Now, what that's going to do is it's going to allow them to do, this is the thing, when somebody comes to your services page, most of the time they don't know what they need. And they're so bombarded already with all the different things that you're capable of doing because you're freaking rock. You know, you have so many things that you're capable of doing. And a lot of the things that we are going to put out there, for instance, I put like 3 packages out there. That's only because I'm doing small, medium, extra large, right? Or large. That's like McDonald's. That's what they do. They give you essentially the hamburger, the cheeseburger, and the drink, and they supersize. So you're going to look at the same thing. So you're going to want to just give them a really phenomenal work with me page, okay? And you can see the about page. My about page is my front home page.
Okay.
Take a look at how I work it. Because most people, while they like you, they don't really want to know about you. Let me just be real. They just want to know about what you're going to be able to do for them, okay? And take them into that place. So whenever you're working on your website, the first thing to do is get that freebie and everything up, do the about page, and you can see the structure of how I structured it already, okay? And then what you're going to do from there is the extra little tab at the top. If you don't have a blog, you don't have anything working, put a work with me and make that a way that they can book a free consultation with you, because you say, I don't like the cookie cutter, I want to customize what you want, and leave them an option to book with you. Don't give them prices. Don't do any of that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. I have a second. Am I allowed 2 questions? I don't know how the hot seat thing works.
Yeah. You're allowed 15 minutes. So go for it.
Okay. Oh, okay, cool. So the speaking engagement also includes the option, like I get to actually add I get to like include something in the swag bag, I guess they're calling it. So, you know, I've been told by the organizer that they want something more than like a business card. And so I've been kind of dreaming up things, but it sounds like most people are giving like an offer or like some sort of like special discount or something like that. And I know you just checked my services and kind of reviewed them. Do you have an idea of what would be a good thing that I could give people who are going to know me really well? Like I get to give a talk that's 10 to 12 minutes and they're going to really get to see me. So if someone has like an inkling of wanting to work with me, do you think I give them like that initial strategy session, like at half off, or like, I don't know, what do you think? What would be something that would make them feel like they, you know, should take that action right away?
Personally, I never discount.
I know, and we talked about that last time. But what can we do that would like...
And this is the reason why. It devalues your brand. You are not a drive-by Walmart. So if you sit there and you discount them, they know they have wiggle room to work with you. Now, when you're discounting, what you're essentially doing is saying, I'm willing to give you all my time that you normally would pay for at no cost. No, you don't do that. Because when they're doing that, they're literally purchasing your expertise, your years of blood, sweat, and tears and education, your thousands upon thousands of dollars, right? And so
tell me I know.
You don't want to do that. And so what is the number one rule? You always just add value.
Add value. Okay.
Okay. So what you're going to add is a mini course, an ebook. When they book with you, they will get an extra audit of whatever it is. Or when they book with you, they will get this is where you partner up with people and see what you can get as far as a good freebie or something like that, or an added service to say, hey, look, I know you love marketing and social media. What if I give a complimentary session with you on marketing strategy? So now you're partnering up, and anybody who books with you, consistently or whichever, while I'm helping them with their mini course, I get an affiliate finder's fee. Okay, so you get like a bit.ly link so people know who you're working with. So what I want you to always think is add value.
Add value.
Don't take away from what you're doing, always add to what you're doing.
Okay, I like it.
Think about a service that you provide that will blow their mind, that you normally don't offer in your regular basic package. Like we spoke about a lot of different things that you do, right? A lot of skill sets, editing, the done for you that you're trying to test out and see how that's going to function. This is an opportunity to get a wide range of people going through your done for you.
Yeah.
And really, really narrow down on what they're finding. So this is where you're going to, not the whole done for you, but add a taste so they can actually maybe even close later on a bigger package with you.
That's cool.
Does that make sense?
I like that, yeah.
Because they already like, know, and trust you. The truth of the matter is, that's why I always say get on discovery calls with people, meaning get on calls with people, because this is what it is. When they love you, they love you. Even if you go and try to do other things, they're like, I know I need one-on-one. It's not going to work any other way, and I know that I have to do this. What you're doing is you're solidifying, because nothing beats a customized strategy. I don't care where you go. Nothing beats it.
Yeah.
So what you already have them. You had them at hello, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you're like, I know your personality, you're going to go rock it doing your thing. You're going to already have them. And it's not much that you need to do. So don't devalue your brand and don't overthink it in that perspective. All this is doing is, one, I want you to think about this. Don't think about closing business. Don't think about anything. Don't think about this is like an opportunity of a lifetime. I want you to think just one thing. You're going to go out there and you're going to win people over by your personality, and you're going to love what the heck you do. Utmost. That is all you're there for. You're there to build authority. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Right now, all you're doing is building authority. As many podcasts as you can get on, as many blog posts that you can guest post on, you're just building authority. So at this point, have a blast with it and enjoy what you're doing when you're speaking.
Love it.
Does that make sense? Does that help?
So that's all I had.
That's all?
I know. I'm trying to think if there's something else. Those are like my big decisions that I'm working through right now, I would say. I mean, I guess I also, I know I mentioned to you, I have this like really good blog post like outlined, but I don't have my website up yet, so I don't really have anywhere to host it. And someone had mentioned that ClickFunnels hosts blogs posts, and I'm like trying to figure that out. And I know you know ClickFunnels a little bit. Is there a way to like host a blog post without a website in ClickFunnels, where somebody in an ad would click on it and think they're just on a website, but they don't realize they're just in ClickFunnels?
Well, yeah, but you're going to have to forward your, like, do domains and all that other stuff, which you're not going to want to do, or subdomains and things like that. Essentially, what I would do is I would just use it as a piece of content, throw it into an ebook, a freebie. You can always do that later. You can take the blog post, put it on, repurpose it. So use it on a YouTube, put it all in your description, the blog post, and then guide them to your site with your freebie. The next thing that you can do is go on Facebook. You can go do a live feed and have that inside your live feed description or something like that when you're done.
Oh, yeah, I already have a bunch of live feed ideas from it. Like, it's kind of one of those like bigger blog posts, like kind of like, I think Amy Porterfield calls them like an epic blog post.
Epic blog post. So they're like,
and so I have it.
Words.
Yeah, and I want to do a content upgrade eventually too, but I mean, maybe it's just not the time right now for where I am. And so, you know, just maybe like after my event and stuff, I can get that going. I guess it was just one of those things where you're like, oh, I know this is what I'm supposed to do. And it just like came out of me. So, yeah.
Okay. Use those moments of creativity when you're doing blog posts and things like that. Just stack them in your Word documents, label them, look at the graphics, think about it. Because what you want to do is once you start blogging, you have to be consistent.
Yeah.
Okay. So when right now, what you're essentially doing is you're creating a presence online, and you're working more so with the connecting aspect, like we spoke about, because we do one-on-one. So because of that, you're going to just focus on what you're doing right now. Don't worry about getting those things out there. Focus right now on doing the little videos and the live feed and staying in touch with everybody. And then what you can do from there is you can post a video on YouTube, put that epic blog post in there if you did want to, or whichever. But eventually you can say, hey, I just want to reference this that I did. Because you're going to repurpose this all the time.
Yeah, I'm just going to.
And that's essentially what you're doing.
And it kind of like, it also kind of represents my core message is essentially what came out of me, like how I'm going to show up. Like Amy Porterfield and Maria Coase are like, I don't know how you say her last name, are like launching classes on how to teach courses, right? Yeah. So I'm like, okay, how am I different than these people? And so, yeah, I kind of am taking this big stance. So it feels like I want to get it out now because of that's the niche, like that's what my niche is talking about right now. But there's time for that. So, you know, I am different than them. And so I'm like excited to start, and I should just break it into chunks and start live streaming and kind of saying why I'm different without calling them out, but like really establishing why the way I see courses is different than the way they see courses. So I guess that's what it is. So yeah, you just kind of solidified, like I don't have to do the epic blog post right now, but I can take what I've brainstormed and start breaking it into my status posts and my, you know, interactions and groups and stuff like that. So people start associating me with that perspective.
So if essentially what you're doing right now is you are creating your brand.
Yep.
Your brand is what you're going to have your foundational message, right? Your message of truth, like that is your foundation. So don't worry about like the epic blog post. Don't worry about any of that, because this is what you also have to realize. You create. Remember, we spoke about that. So when you create, you can easily jump all the time. And you don't want to jump all the time. And this is where you can just create your message. You don't know where this is going to come. Let it develop, because your message is going to develop over time. Mm-hmm. And this could actually be the foundation of a freebie or a mini course that you're going to do in the future. Mm-hmm. So kind of how you do content and how you bring that. And so right now too, you have your clientele base. You were able to start connecting and bridging that. You don't need to worry right now so much about the blogging aspect.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Okay, so focus on that. Focus on getting your presence. Get through this time with your speaking engagement. Does that make sense? Get through this time with your speaking engagement, and then just honestly flow and allow that message. Because if it's I know it's an epic blog post, but if it's your core message, give it a month before you release that. Because I want you to flourish and work on that. You remember we spoke about kind of doing videos in emotion?
Yeah.
You never do videos off of emotion.
Yeah.
Ever. Why? Because you're unstable and you're thinking out of not a logical, practical standpoint that others are going to get. And you never really know what's going to come out your mouth.
Yeah. And I like it too. Like if, you know, in taking the pressure off of this like epic blog post that I want to release, which is going to ruffle some feathers like in the industry a bit, which is what I want to do. That's like a total like,
I do that all the time.
right? It's a stance I want to take, but you're right. I want to think through a lot of stuff. And the outlining has been cool. I've been showing it to people I trust and, you know, getting their perspective and chatting with them about it. So like, yeah, this is something that, you know, in live streams, like in posts, in getting questions and comments of little nuggets of it, I can get feedback before it goes out. Like, I don't want to put it out tomorrow and be like, this is what I believe, without like fully thinking it through. So I like that.
And this is the thing also, when you're going to put something like that, that's very contradictory like that, you have to have something in place because people will look for you.
Oh, yeah.
So when I speak in the industry and they're like, she doesn't, you've said it multiple times in our one-on-one sessions. Okay, she does not tell me what average coaches tell me.
No, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it feels, it's right. And I know it's right. Okay, well, I'm a very contradictory person. Most answers that I'm going to do are not quite what most people would say. Like, I'm like, if you don't like it, screw it, don't do it. Like, hey, well, that people don't like that answer. Well, why not? Are we following a cookie cutter model, or are we going by your personality type? So what I want you to focus on is, and you can send it to me because I know we do one-on-one.
Yeah, I put it on my list to send to you.
Yeah, and we'll take a look at that and see, this is going to be something that you want to have some things in place before you present it, because it's a foundational piece, okay? You're going to bring people to this piece and you want to make it viral. You want to work this piece. So let's get you in place first before you hit that.
Perfect.
Answer your questions?
Yep.
Sure. Any more?
No, I'm good. Thank you, love. I kind of want to, I'm going to try to hang for like 7 more minutes. I think I can muster.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, go for it, April.
Okay. So I think I've told you this like 3 times, but I finally am getting my website done next week. My husband actually took a couple days off of work to help me because that's what he does for a living. Yeah. So we're going to like sit around next week and just like hammer out my website. So I'm not going to start super complicated. So I like, we talked about having a landing page. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what that means. I want to be able to collect contact or like contact information. You told me so I could get a list.
Yes.
So what am I doing that? Like, what is their incentive for like giving me their contact information? How am I pulling that out of them on this landing page?
Well, what you're going to essentially do is create something that's enticing for them. So
Okay.
you love to edit and do all those things. So this is your foundational piece. So whenever you create any freebie, I always believe that you should do it with a purpose and an intention. You don't just throw something out there.
Okay.
So your intention eventually is to author a book and to, you know, do some one-on-one coaching and some things like that, some outsourcing, contracting. From what we spoke, and we're heading into that one-on-one. So what you're essentially going to do is, what is, like what Lindsay had, what is her foundation? Her foundational piece, that epic blog post is going to become her freebie, because that is going to be the most controversial thing that everybody is going to want to opt into and say, you have to listen to this lady's stuff. The way that she looks at things in the industry is going to blow your mind, and it's totally contradictory to what everybody's doing. It's a perfect opportunity. That's why I told her, don't post it. It's a perfect opportunity to create a lead magnet. That means you have a message about you that you cannot stand when people are not presenting themselves in a professional, grammatical way, right? Mm-hmm. Being able to do it. So you're going to talk about like the 7 top mistakes that make a professional look like an amateur. Bam.
That cracks me up. I just started writing that.
Okay.
I picked 5, but it was the same thing, because my big thing is, since I did those reviews for testimonials that we talked about, and my big thing is, everybody has a voice. I don't want to take your voice away, because nobody's going to believe you if you don't have an authentic voice. I just don't want you to use your words to distort your voice. Like, you're not presenting yourself as authentically you if there's these mistakes that throw people and they're missing who you are. So I've been doing like the 5 things, like 5 ways of keeping what's uniquely you about you without losing the grammar and structure that people need in order to be able to follow what you're saying. So I'm actually started.
At the same time, I want you to be aware of this. Number 1, people love, the higher you go, they love it. So 13 would be awesome. It's an odd number, so you want to stay odd, but you want to go higher. People love lists because they feel like it's easy, tangible, they can check it off, and boom. So you don't have to make something long. This is going to be a lead magnet. So what's going to happen is, it's going to be your foundational piece that you're able to then do a mini course on, or do 13 modules on, that you can really get in depth. for later on. So you always want to think buildable, okay? And the biggest thing for you is, let's just be real. I don't care about grammar, right? Most people don't. I want to get my message across, but I'm not good at it. And that's why I have a VA. I'm so guilty with that. And so it's the truth. So you're going to want to give a killer headline that is not going to say, I'm going to help you do grammatical whatever.
That's boring.
Nobody's going to want that. You're going to want to have to do this as a teacher. There's a way, like we talked about the SATs and the prep and everything. There's a way that you speak to these students where they're like, heck yeah, I could do this. It's not boring. I like it. Okay. When people get to see the results, like for instance, if you came and you did a class with me and you said, Tanya, you need to do a writing class and a grammar class, because if you do this, my words will make you money. Your words make you money, essentially, right?
Right.
So essentially, if I know that my words can make me money and I know it could make or break me in the industry of charging, because my one-on-one coaching is 10 grand and up, okay? So, and I do $5,000 if I'm doing like retainer, where I'm kind of walking you through, but it's not as detailed as my 10 grand package, right?
Right.
Okay. So how am I going to get those people? I need you, April, to show me how to look professional. If I know that my time with you is going to yield me more money and results and make me look more professional and book me speaking gigs and things like that, do you not think I'm going to want to be with you? Of course, I'm going to want to hire you. But you have to do it in a way, you know how like when they talk about my daughter came and she was like doing the Mary Poppins, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. I swear I have that song in my head all the time. So what happens is you're giving a spoonful of sugar to help that medicine that they really don't want to taste because they don't care go down. And there's certain people you're going to do a done for you package. Like Lindsay, she teaches online courses and how to manifest them. So eventually you'll be going to Lindsay. But what's going to happen is you're going to bring them from one stage to another without even letting them know that they're there. Because you can't, most people are not going to think that they need that. You have to prove to them along the way. And that's how you're going to have the enticing copy.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Yeah, that does make sense. So the other thing about my website, and I think I heard a little bit of what you guys were asking in the beginning. Should I put prices on my website, or should I make that something that we discuss later? Don't do it.
No.
Okay.
No. And this is, and I'll tell you this. Let me ask you a question. And we do one-on-one, right? So let me ask you a question. If you never met me at all, period, and I told you, go ahead and pay me 10 grand, would you?
No.
No.
Right. Yeah.
When I did a discovery call with you and I said, I'm willing to help you because I just like helping people. And by the time you were done, did you not even wait 30 days every day? I mean, every week. What did you do? You reported to me every week. I followed through with you because you weren't at the point yet and you were getting all that together, because who has money in their back of the pocket all the time like that? Okay. So we were flowing. I stayed consistent with you. I gave you just enough not to confuse you. But what happened in that one-on-one call with you and I?
What you mean, like, why did I keep coming back to you?
Yeah. What happened?
Well, I got to know you and I trusted you. You weren't just a picture on the internet anymore. Like, you were a voice and a person who understood me and who wanted to help me. Yeah, you were real.
Exactly. And that's the problem with most people that are online today, is that they try to automate too much. They try not to put the skin in the game. They automate too fast. Okay. Right. I've been in business for over 15 years and I still do discovery calls and one-on-one. And I still do that to this day. Do I automate some functions? Yes, but I never automate one-on-one. Bye, Lindsay. So I never automate one-on-one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And the reason for that is because I cannot take the relationship part away, because that is what bonds people together.
That makes
sense.
It does.
Yeah, you just want to make sure that you're focused on delivering the value and being one-on-one. So don't put pricing, just give them the option to work with you, because most people don't know what they want. Like, for instance, they wouldn't know, okay, if I meet with her, or you know, if I'm going to spend this amount of money, they're okay to spend that for a college.
Yeah.
But they don't understand what you're going to do one-on-one. And so that's why you never put your stuff, you make sure that, because that coaching package might not be good for some people.
Well, and what I realized too, when I was making my prices, and there's so many different things, I almost need to have a talk like this to see exactly what they need, because there's not just clear prices, because some people only need a little bit of copy. Some people like legit need everything.
Yeah.
Some people just need you to proofread, like, you know what I mean? Or some people just need you to fact check or look for consistency. Like, there's so many different things that I kind of don't want to give a price and then read their copy and go, oh shit, no, you needed so much more than what we just agreed to.
And so do you see how you could potentially give like a disservice to people if you're not meeting one-on-one? You legitimately, as a professional, cannot give the right thing. And how many people really come to you knowing exactly what they want?
Yeah, no, and I saw that with all the people that I did for testimonials, is we sort of had to work it out. And actually, one of the ladies that she had randomly asked me to edit her book, and I go, okay, well, we're doing this for a testimony, so how about you send me a couple chapters and we'll talk about like, we'll talk about it. Like, I'm not going to do line by line stuff. And I just gave her some overall feedback and a little bit of line by line, but mostly overall. And she called me yesterday and was like, I mean, we like became best friends on this phone call. And she was like, I have to figure out what to do, because she paid all of this money, like over $5,000, to a book coach who gave her 0 line by line feedback. Like, she's like, she's asking for my final payment. It will put me up to $5,500, and I've got nothing from her. She's like, she goes, I saw your feedback and I cried, because I was like, I can work with this. Like, this makes sense to me. I can use this. And she's like, if I had just known you first, but which is good now, because I'm like, okay, now we know each other, and she's writing more books. But it was affirmation, I guess, for what I'm doing too. So
I would make sure too that you go back to her and ask her as your client now, because she's technically in that arena.
Right.
What I would make sure that you do is obviously get her on your email list. I would also make sure that you on your calendar, go ahead and put, like, from a week or 2 from now, follow up with her. Okay. Always make sure that you do that ahead of time so you can remember to do that. The other thing is, I would contact her and find out, tell her to look at her contract with this lady. And
she didn't sign one.
Oh, geez.
Doesn't that blow your mind? I was like, no. I said, you know what? I just signed with a coach, and like, there's a legit contract that I had to read through. They signed nothing. And this is not a nobody. This is a name that you would know. This is a big person. Like, all over Facebook, I see this person. And I was like, I am blown away that you did not sign a contract.
Okay, well, what I would tell her to do is contact that person and tell them legitly, this is what we initially said. Now, there has to be some type of conversations, emails of what the expectation was. Something was written. And if that was her expectation, and she clearly stated that, she needs to make sure that that person lives up to that. So have her go back. Don't have her just like kind of retreat, because most people will do that.
Yeah, that's what she did. She's like, I'm not very confrontational. And I'm like, listen, there's a way to do it nicely.
Yeah.
You're owed a lot of money. She actually was supposed to have a call with her today. So I already like sent her a private message and just like, hey, how did it go? Let me know. Like, just as a supportive thing. But yeah,
have her do that.
She's like, I'm just not going to make the final payment. I'm like, no, you're still out like $4,000 already. You can't just, you have to at least get what you paid for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No. Just tell her that, you know what, that she needs to communicate those expectations, that tell her to pull out old emails, Facebook messages, whatever it was that they communicated, and this is what it was. And from now on, there has to be a clear expectation of your contract. And that's, you and I do one-on-one now. So we're going to talk about your contract, go through, make sure your butt is covered and all that stuff, because this is where clear communication lies. Right. People, your expectations of what's going on. So absolutely, I would definitely go back. This is what gets people loving you.
Yeah.
Because now they're like, she didn't have to help me do this.
Mm-hmm.
right? She didn't have to, but now you have made that impression in her life. She's real, you know, you're real, you're tangible, right? Just, you know, I didn't have to work with you getting the responses every week and working, but I'm tangible and I have an intention to help you. That was a pure intention.
Right.
So this is where you can shine in this area, especially with what you've already given her.
Yeah, that's what she just looked at me. She's like, you gave it to me for free and I just paid all this money and I got like nothing in comparison. And she's like, and like, she was just super happy with what I gave her. Right. And it drew a comparison to what she hadn't gotten. She's like, I thought maybe this was the norm. And then I got yours and was like, this girl fucking rocks. Why didn't I hire her? I didn't mean to swear. I didn't mean to throw the F-bomb out there.
Please.
I know. Sorry. Oh God, it's recorded. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. So I have one last question.
Yeah.
I don't want to water down anything too much, but I'm really excited for the editing stuff because it sounds super basic to start with, but the more I write, the more I think there's a lot of cool possibilities with this.
Yeah.
I still do workshops for the testing, but I'm kind of like not focused on that so much right now. But the big thing right now is I've already done like 5 interviews for my book and people are coming out of the woodwork to want to work with me or wanting to let me interview them. Is that like, should I have separate sites? Is that too much to put all in one? I feel like there's a way to put the book one on there. I'd like to have something that says a snippet of what I'm doing. I would like to do maybe add a secondary blog and have like snippets of like maybe some of the interviews or what it's going to be about. So then more people that want to work with me can contact me that way. Like it's another way of getting contact information. But is that too many purposes? Even if I just did those 2, is that too much for one website?
Okay, so what is your intention with the book? What is it about?
Yeah, so it's in a really sort of short explanation. I like woke up one day and had completely lost myself. For me, that journey meant getting a divorce out of a very unhealthy marriage. And I'd been a stay-at-home mom for 8 years. I didn't have an identity at all. Like I was so-and-so's wife and so-and-so's mom. And when I got a divorce, I had like 0 money and I was dirt poor. And I had to like pull myself up my bootstraps, figure out who I was, worked my way back to now where I'm already an entrepreneur doing freelance interpreting, but had to go back to school. It was a super painful journey. And I remember thinking if I knew just one person who could have said, I lived this, it gets better, or you're not alone, or I know it sucks.
Yeah.
But there's a light at the end. I would have been so much less terrified. So I wanted to share that version of my story. And it seems like I keep meeting women who have their version of being lost and then finding themselves. And the more I talk about it online, the more people want to tell their story. So I want it to be a collection. Think like, it's super cliche now, but think like Chicken Soup for the Soul, how they're all individual stories.
Yes.
So I want it to be individual stories. So you could pick it up and there would be a story that would relate to your life. There'd be something that you could relate to. Mine is about marriage and divorce, but most of the ones I've read are not. I interviewed someone today who lost a child. I've interviewed, there's been a plethora of different losing myself stories, but it's all about that moment of rock bottom to the process of working your way out of it. It's supposed to be inspirational. So I'm interviewing people and writing their stories.
Okay. So what do you do in your natural business? What did you tell me that you did?
What do you mean? I don't know.
In your business, your tagline, your thing that you did with editing people's stuff, what did you say that you did? You helped them?
Like keep their voice?
There you go.
Yeah.
What is your book about?
About people finding their voice.
So do you think those are 2 different things?
No, oh my God. I love that you just tied that together.
So what is it essentially? They're just 2 different perspectives. So is there a way that as you're speaking and doing certain things, you can tie in on certain blog posts how, you learn to find your voice, and in order to find that voice, you had to find that identity and go through that process. And in that, you were able to then articulate accurately what your voice is for your business and who you wanted to serve. And it helps me learn who April is. So I get to actually dive a little bit deeper and say that April is a real person with real issues, real family, because so many people forget that you're helping them edit and you're helping them do all these things, and they forget that you actually, that's why I always say discounting and all that other stuff. They forget that somebody else has to feed their kids. You want to take $1,000 out of their kid's mouth? This is all they do.
Right.
So we have to constantly remind people how human we are.
Yeah.
And how do we do that? We do it through our blog posts, our voice, through our videos. We do it by bridging our life and our business together in a way that's going to be mentoring and helping them. So eventually you're going to step into a place where you're going to speak and author, and you're going to bring people into another place. You're not going to just be identified as somebody who grammatically corrects things, because when you're trying to find people's understanding of what they're trying to say and articulate, you have to find out who they are.
Yeah.
So essentially, you're helping them soul search and identify why they're saying what they're saying, and really, what are you really trying to articulate? Because you're not able to do it, but April has a way of discerning it and bringing it out of you. So you have a different way of bringing your editing. You are not just an editor, right? There's so much more than just editing, because you can't just edit. You have to learn what the reader or what the writer is trying to articulate. That doesn't happen easily. You have to discern that, don't you?
Yeah.
So there's a process.
That's why I need to get on these calls with them, because I have to figure out, I have to see who they are.
Exactly.
You just blew my mind. No, I'm so excited, because that's like the perfect time for those two things. And ironically, all of the people that I've interviewed and have set up to interview are entrepreneurs. So they're all women who lost their voice and found it to such an extent that they've made a business out of what they found in themselves. There's absolutely a way to connect finding your voice in your writing and finding your voice in your business and finding your voice in your life. Like I love that. I love that.
So many people will build off of an experience. And while I can agree that sometimes I get that, it's not healthy. And you have to build off your passion. So essentially what you're doing is you're building off of your passion to help entrepreneurs, step out, write their books, do the things that they do, and get their voice across, because that's a passion for you. But what you're essentially doing is you're taking your experiences and helping you build a foundation and pushing along so you can be compassionate and understand better how to discern where they're at. So do you see how you're building on your passion and not your experience? Because if you built off your experience, you would be this motivational speaker that's helping women get through divorce and all this other stuff. Is that your passion, or is that an experience?
No, that's just an experience.
And how long do you think that experience will last, where you think that you're riding the wave of your passion? Eventually, do you think it'll wear out?
Yeah, yeah.
That's where, unfortunately, most people are. They build their entrepreneurship journey on their experience or their skill set. My husband was killed in a motorcycle accident. I didn't have a lot of pictures. I had an amazing ability to photograph and do graphic design. Guess what I did? For 12 years, I built my business and coached people on the side and things like that off of photography.
Yeah.
Was that right or wrong? Well, nobody was there to guide me. Nobody was there to coach me through the process. Nobody was there to say, hey, you know what? I think you're building off of an experience and it's not going to last very long. Let me help you find your passion. So essentially what you're doing is a whole lot greater. And when you realize that you're tapping into something that you are greater than just correcting and editing somebody's stuff, and you look at it from the perspective of that you are really helping somebody's soul search and really pulling their voice out of them, being able to articulate in a way that everybody understands, you're going to realize that there's so much more depth to what you do. And you're going to have so much more that you're going to flourish in because of that. So hopefully that answered your question.
That totally answered my question. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was, because in my head, I don't know why I kept trying to see them as separate things. But the more, no, they're not. And it makes sense that they're not. And I think because when I think of the words like copy editing and it's so dry, and then this book is not dry, but my experiences of what I've done so far for people for testimonials have been just that, have been reading their words and finding their voice and helping them not say you spelled that wrong or you forgot a comma, but helping them hone their voice so that people were getting an authentic view of them through their words, and not just, because so many people just are writing the words that they hear, like these buzzwords, and anybody can write that copy. It doesn't really represent who they are. And I mean, I've had people like immediately change their website to what I suggested, or, I mean, the testimonials I've gotten are really beautiful.
Yeah, you're helping them tell their story. You're the pen in their journey. You're the pen in your journey, and you're helping them go through that. And they're that paper, and you're just helping them write that journey down. And so that's very powerful for you. And if you can look at it that way, then you have a world awaiting you, a massive world of helping people identify. So you're not a copywriter. You're not this average person. Essentially what you're doing is you're helping them find their voice. You're doing a coaching session like what, you can just do something with us, and then we're going through it, and then you're like, you know what? I can also be the one that actually writes it for you. So essentially you're not building, I want you to get this out your mind, you're not building off of your skill set of copy and editing and all that and grammar. What you're building is off of the skill set of being able to discern and tell people's story and help them understand their tagline and help them articulate their message appropriately. What they're going to hire you for is to be able to take what you're getting from them and put it down on paper. Because most people can't do that. But what you're able to do is that you ignite them to be able to do it in a coaching session or in interviews. They can now speak it, but they still can't get it down on paper.
Right.
So essentially, I don't want you to look at it. You're literally building off of your passion, which is helping people articulate their voice, whether on paper, whether, through voice, whatever it is. Okay? Because you can go through somebody's video and you could literally tell them this is what you need to change in that video to be able to explain this better, can't you?
Oh, yeah.
So you're not limited to just writing, are you?
No, it's so much bigger than that.
So then you are the big thing. You just have a skill set of writing, editing, copying. That is your skill set. Your experience is what you've been through in divorce and all that. Your passion is something different. So do you see how what I mean by not building on your skill set, not being a copy or editor, not building on a skill set and not building on an experience, but building on your ultimate passion and allowing your skills and your experience to complement those things?
Yes,
okay.
That makes perfect sense.
So we've discerned the difference between all those things, and now you have a clear focus of where you're going and how you're going to do that. And obviously we work together, so you're gonna get a whole lot more different stuff. But cool. So we answered all your questions, and it's almost at the top of the hour. So I know there was a few people that messaged me and Alana that they were going to jump on. I'm sure they'll come on next time that we come and have the session or whatever. But so darn, I wish they could have. I guess you didn't have internet connection or something like that, and some people just missed it. So we're definitely going to have this, guys, on the replay inside of the Clarity Network. If you're one-on-one with me, you'll definitely have access to that anyway. If not, you can go to theclaritynetwork.com and check that out and have that. So love having you, and I'm actually going to meet with you Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So until then, my love.
All right. Thank you.
All right, guys. All right, bye.
Bye.